What is the toughest part of being a drag queen? How that weight loss journey was to you? Were there any people who were bullying the way you look?
I got bullied for sounding like a girl, and then I got bullied for being gay, and even this week somebody online, what's Danny Beard done to the face? The high heels, the corset, the foam boobs, that's just partial, but it's not comfortable. But transphobia is a lot more uncomfortable.
Welcome to TKC Talks, where we dive deep into self-expression and personal journeys. Today, we have an honor to sitting down with a true icon, a singer, a podcaster, and the fabulous winner of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 4 winner. Yes, you know who I'm talking about.
Hi, honey, how are you?
I'm good, hon.
It was a very nice intro.
Oh, is it?
You should do television in Turkey.
Really?
Yes,
All
you've
right.
got the face for it.
I'm going it. All right. I'm changing my job. So get ready for an insightful conversation where we will dive deep into Danny Beard's career, personal growth, and everything in between. So let's get into it. So welcome, Danny.
Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Thank you for coming here. It is all our pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
And for me, you're an incredible person with incredible talents. But for those who might not fully aware of who Danny Beard is, how would you describe yourself? Like, who you are, Danny?
I present, I'm a drag queen, I'm a singer, I'm an entertainer. I do a little bit of everything. I think I like to think of it, I like to make people feel good. Mm-hmm. And
you do.
And I like to show off, and I do.
Yes.
And I'm just really lucky that I suppose I'm an artist and I get to do different things every day. So whether it's podcasting or performing live with a band and telling jokes and dressing up in silly costumes, you know, it's something different every day, and I'm really lucky I get to do what I love, and hopefully other people love it.
We're loving it. But in addition to being lucky, we should also consider your effort. Which is
there's a lot of effort.
a lot, right? As someone who navigated personal growth and drag world and gay community, can you recall your earliest memory of where you feel like I didn't feel quite fit in, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I always knew I was a bit different. Like, the world that we live in is very much adhered and set up for, you know, straight people. Like, being straight is the norm. So I felt different as a kid because of that. And I think before I knew I was gay, kids used to say, "Oh, you sound like a girl." So I was like, "Oh, right,
Okay,
I sound
I
like a
like
girl, okay." And then I got bullied for sounding like a girl, and then I got bullied for being gay. And I don't know, I've always been different. For a long time, I held that as like almost like a scar or like a thing that I was a bit resentful for. But the more I've gone through life, I feel
Scar that makes you beautiful.
Well, yeah, but I also feel like I don't feel that way anymore, in terms of it's just a little part of who I am. For some other people, they look at it and see it as a big part of who I am, and that's on them. But I'm really lucky that I've got the gay community. I'm very lucky that I'm gay, because
We're proud.
I'm proud. I am
Yes.
proud, and a lot of the work that I do is for that community. I get to work at lots of Pride events all around the world. I get to tour with my band all around the world, and there's nothing nicer than just getting together a big group of people and just having a really good time.
All right. In addition to your finding your true self, you also had your weight loss journey, right? And I think most of people are wondering how that weight loss journey was to you. Like, you know, were there any people who were bullying the way you look, or even yourself? How was your relationship with the body you have and the food, like, you know?
For me, that's like a very personal thing that I've always struggled with. Like, I'm very much big personality. I like to show off. I like to make people feel good. But then when you look in the mirror, you don't like what you see. And I think there's a certain element that maybe I'll always have that a little bit. you know?
Yeah,
And I work in an industry, I mean, I had comments this week. I
Really?
feel like I look the best I've looked in a long time, partly thanks to you guys.
Honey, you are.
But I feel like I look the best I feel the best, let's say that. I feel the best I've felt in a long time. And even this week, somebody online, what's Danny Beard done to the face? So I work in an industry where people judge and feel like they can talk about it because we put ourselves out in the public.
You do.
We do stuff online, we do stuff on TV. I think people feel like they can have an ownership or can have a comment on other people's bodies, and everyone's journey is different.
It is.
And if you want to change your body and you're doing it for you in whatever way that is, whether that's you come into Turkey and you're getting your teeth done, or you want a tummy tuck because you've lost loads of weight, or whatever it is, or you want some boobies, you know, that's your own body.
Of course.
And you should be able to do whatever you want with it. And I think we need to get to a point in society where we stop judging other people's bodies and having conversations about other people's bodies without their consent. Obviously, we're having a conversation now, but hopefully that's going to enlighten people. And I wanted
this
to
is
have
the
this
only reason.
Yeah, I wanted to have this conversation with you, but it's people online that comment on people's bodies, and it can affect them, you know.
It can. I mean, they're doing it without any consciousness, but it's easy to type it behind the screens, right?
Exactly, and I say it to my face.
Okay, if you have that. There is often a fine line between your drag persona and the one, I mean, who you are behind that makeup, okay? Do you see your drag persona as an extension of yourself or a totally, completely different from your, you know, entity? Or how do they differ or overlay? You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I always felt like it was an extension of who I am.
Really?
I felt like when I put drag on, it was like an armour. It was like, you know the feeling when you are going on a night out with your friends, right? And you get a brand new outfit and you put it on and you just feel...
like yourself.
Unstoppable. You
I
feel
know
sexy. You feel like, I'm going to have a good night tonight. That's what drag is.
All right.
And the fact that I get to stand on stage and tell jokes and be funny and sing and do all of that, I always felt like it added to who I was. But there's a but. I think if you ask somebody like my partner, my boyfriend, he would say, "Oh no, they're different."
Really?
So I think it's me with a little bit extra, with a cherry on the top.
Of course.
But I think the people around me say, "Oh no, they see a telly me or a stage me." I don't see it, but other people do.
So I think most of people are wondering about this. Were there any moments which is you wish you could unsee on or off the stage? I'm sure there are. I'm sure.
There probably is. Things I wish I could unsee. I mean, there's a very famous girl group in the UK. Have you ever heard of the Cheeky Girls?
I do.
Do you know the Cheeky Girls?
Yeah.
So this is really...
You know?
They're not that famous. But when I was growing up, they had this pop song in the UK, Don't Be Shy, Touch My Bum, two twins. And I did a show, and it was like a big outdoor stage. And often at gigs, you share a dressing room with acts, so you have different slots. So they were on before me. So they had a slot, but they'd overstayed and I'd arrived early. So I was like, I can wait. I'll wait outside. Anyway, long story short.
What's coming?
It was like a tent because it was an outdoor festival.
All right.
So the floor was grass and everything was inside. And I went in and they said, oh, we're going to leave now. And one of them was squatted on the floor with their knickers down.
Oh, no.
Seriously, having a wee on the dressing room floor.
I couldn't even imagine.
How
really?
Funny is that? I found it funny.
Oh my God.
I was like, when anyone came in, I was like, don't go in the corner.
You were protector of that
corner. I thought it was funny. I thought, whatever, it's camp. But if it happened now, I would be like, what are you doing?
Right.
But you know, it happened. I'm not slandering them. I'm sure
yeah.
they had a busy day and couldn't.
Yeah, it might be.
Didn't
But
have 5 minutes to go to the Portaloo.
not everyone see, this kind of view everyday life. It would be fun.
Not everyone can say they've seen a cheeky girl have a wee.
Yeah.
I have.
No. Another things I'm wondering is, what is the toughest part of being a drag queen? Like
I think.
high heels or the people you work with? How would you say that?
I think actually it's a wider society thing because drag is like the most mainstream it's ever been.
Yeah.
We've got amazing shows like Drag Race that I was able to take part in, and it makes drag become more mainstream. But we also are navigating a world right now where there's a lot of people who have negative opinions on, say, trans people, and gender is up for debate. And I think weirdly drag overlaps that. While that's not my life and my journey, and I don't want to take away from anyone that is trans, I certainly see a thin end of a wedge of a shift in people's attitudes towards people that aren't gender conforming. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes
and
sense.
drag isn't gender conforming, it's the complete opposite of that. It's a complete
It's a
FU.
misconception, like everybody tells that.
Yeah, it's a complete FU to what society says men should be and women should be, and we take the mick out of it, and we take, we poke fun at it, and it's not serious, it's not deep, but it is just inherently political being a drag queen. I mean, the high heels, the corset, the foam boobs, that's just part and parcel of it. It's not comfortable, it's uncomfy, but, transphobia is a lot more uncomfortable.
It is. I mean, because it looks like you might be having a really great time having those high heels, a lot of makeup, but behind these, it could be the easiest part for you.
I think...
In
You know what
addition
it's like
to-
wearing
I
high heels
know.
and a lot of makeup.
I know.
I'm joking.
Remove
She went, I know.
No, I like your sense of humor,
Thank
so
you.
go for it.
Go.
Danny, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today, because your honesty, your vulnerability, and your strength has shown a lot of people the strength we hold in ourselves as well. And I know our audience has gained a lot of insight from our conversation today. And
I hope so.
thank you for that.
No, thank you for having me and asking me.
Ah. Before we wrap up, do you have final words of advice for those who are watching, especially the ones in the LGBTQ community who might be struggling, embracing who they are? Because your words can mean a lot, and even one word can change their whole life.
I think whoever you are, however you identify, whoever you want to go to bed with at the end of the night, first of all, it's nobody else's business but yours. And I think as long as you accept who you are, nothing else can matter. Like, it really does get better once you own who you are. And then you can start navigating a world being true to yourself. And, it's not easy being an LGBTQ plus person and, say, for example, travelling. So when I'm travelling anywhere, I'm always looking, is this place safe to go? I'm always wanting to go with a company like TKC that I know are going to look after me and not put me in a dangerous situation. And I think once you understand who you are, you find more people like you. So if there's anyone out there that feels like lonely or isolated or can't accept who they are, they might not have like-minded people around them.
Probably.
And once you accept who you are and you can start navigating the world as your authentic self, you find that you attract more like-minded people. You find your people, you find your tribe, you find your family. And I'm lucky enough that I'm very much who I am. I can't escape who I am. So I'm super lucky that that's me. But I think the first thing is just being honest with yourself and finding peace with who you are.
Who you are, exactly.
No matter it doesn't matter who you are.
It doesn't matter.
So many people in this world, and it would be so boring if we were all the same.
Exactly.
And I know that's like a bit said and done and a little bit boring to hear when you hear it all the time, but it's so true.
It is. So from now on, you'll be the rainbow of your own life and sparkle, shine ever than before, right?
She said it better than I said it.
All right.
That's the way to end it.
we ended it.